Now, the Cannabis Expo, said to be one of the largest events in South Africa, is returning this month. The Expo offers a venue for the cannabis sector to showcase its goods and spread awareness about the plant's advantages in medicine, agriculture and finance. Well, let's discuss this now. I'm joined by the Managing Director of Fields of Green, Myrtle Clarke. Ms. Clarke, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Are you ready for the Expo?
Hello, yes, and it's always great to speak to eNCA. Yes, we are indeed. As the only non-profit company in the building, we are ready for our stall at the Cannabis Expo, which has been very generously donated by the organizers.
Okay, so what are you going to use the stand for yourself as a non-profit organization?
We're there to spread the word that the trade in cannabis is not legal in South Africa, at least not for all South Africans. It's legal if you have one of the SAPRA licenses, but it's certainly not legal for anybody else to trade in the cannabis plant. And this is a huge, huge problem for us. So we're going to be shouting very loud at the Expo as the only people who are really fighting in court, fighting on the streets, fighting the police, fighting everybody for our right to not only just use and cultivate cannabis, but also to trade. Because as our president has said, 3 years in a row, he's promised to open up the commercial cannabis industry for all South Africans, but this has not happened.
What should happen to open it up? What are these things that will convince you that the opening up is now taking place?
The primary thing would be for the police to stop arresting us and locking us up in cages, because this is a human rights violation and it only highlights the great inequalities in our country. So that is certainly at the top of our list.
For that to happen, Ms. Clarke, you'd have to change the law, isn't it, to decriminalize dacha?
Yes, exactly. And I have been out on bail for the last 12 years. So I am still considered a potential criminal in South Africa. And the government have been given 4 years. It's 4 years since our constitutional court ruling to rectify the defects in the law. And to date, there's been absolutely no movement. We have a bill before Parliament that is highly unconstitutional and highly problematic because the evidence has never been heard in court.
Yeah, so the decriminalization is one aspect, and stop arresting us is the plea from you. What else would indicate to you to change? Because currently there is a level of business that's happening with cannabis for medicinal purposes, as an example. What else would you like to see change as an indicator that cannabis is now allowed and nobody will be arrested?
If the government would sit down with the people who actually hold the evidence and not force us to go back to court. I'll be going back to court in due course. We also have another case in the Western Cape with the Hayes Club case. We have a case in front of the Labour Court, and we have a case against the police. And civil society is being forced to bear the cost, both financial and psychological cost, of having to fight the government in court in order to be heard. We find this grossly unfair and, of course, a human rights violation. So we're very pleased with the Constitutional Court ruling yesterday that slap cases are not allowed in South Africa. So as a non-profit company, we look forward to the government withdrawing their opposition to our case in court and allowing us to all sit around the table so that we can present our evidence without it costing us everything that we have.
Yeah, what are the major benefits? I mean, besides, of course, the criminalization aspect, if it's good, what are the major benefits of the plant?
Well, you know, our organization, just as a disclaimer, has always been about the harms of prohibition as opposed to the benefits of the plant. We've been using this plant in Southern Africa for 700 years. So according to our evidence in court, we have responsible adult use, we have health uses, and that doesn't that's not only prescription medicine from a doctor. We have industrial uses. There's over 3,000 different uses, roughly, industrial uses for the plant. And then, of course, this being Africa, we have our traditional, cultural, and religious uses which need to be respected. So the uses are incredibly broad. I think that everybody knows about this now. We need to really concentrate on the harms of prohibition.
Yeah, so you're going to be there for the whole 4 days of the exhibition, spreading the information and creating this awareness you're just sharing now with us, Ms. Clarke?
Yes, I will be there. I will be giving our Fields of Green for All presentation at 7:30 in the evening on Saturday. You know, the expo is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until 9 o'clock at night. So please, if you're in the area, please come and listen to what we have to say as Southern Africa's only cannabis re-legalization nonprofit company.